And that's when Kyle said, he said, since this meditation is outside, right? I can't control the outside noise, which would be the children screaming, the airplanes coming and going, and the sirens. But he said, meditation is all about staying focused and not letting any of those external noises or things distract you. And when he said that, I was hit with a big aha moment. And I thought about how important it is for me to stay focused on my dreams and goals and not to get distracted by external factors. Hey there, it's Suzanne Oshima, life coach for women in midlife, and your fellow sister on a mission to empower and inspire you through the twists and turns of midlife. I'm here to help you transform it into your best life with the Life Is Now, Do It While You Can podcast. We only get one life, so let's make it count, and I'm super excited to dive into this new journey together. Hey there, on today's episode, I want to talk about a life lesson on how to stay focused and to not let distractions derail your dream. So on Sunday, this last Sunday, I was scrolling through Instagram and I actually came across an ad that was promoting a meditation sound bath on the night of the full moon. And if you're wondering what the heck is a sound bath, just think of it as another form of meditation. That's the best way to think, because that's actually what it is. You don't need to know what a sound bath is, because quite honestly, I didn't really know what it was until I did it. But anyways, it looked amazing because it was going to take place outside at sunset in the fresh air. And whenever I can be outside doing something that's either like yoga related or meditation is like a dream come true for me. So I signed up. Now, I'll be honest, like I said, I've only done a sound bath meditation once before, and it was when I was in Joshua Tree. I think it was last year, or maybe it was the year before. I've only done it once before. And to be honest, like I said, I don't know how sound baths work. All I knew is that I felt better afterwards. And that's all I needed to know, because I felt more balanced, I felt more aligned, and I just felt this sense of calmness around me, which to me is all that matters. I don't need to know how a sound bath works or why it works. Is if I feel better after, then that's good for me, right? So anyway, this event was being held at a hotel here in Newport Beach. And when I got to the hotel, the receptionist said, the sound bath is down by the pool, on the lawn on the right side. And I was like, okay, great. So I walked down there and the sun was just starting to go down and it was so beautiful. And I was walking across the lawn. I was like trying to decide, where should I place my yoga mat? And I wanted to place it at an angle where I could see the beauty of the sunset, yet also be close enough to the sound bowls so I could fully absorb all the positive cleansing energy. And as I sat down on my yoga mat and I just looked at the sun setting, and it was so beautiful because the sun was starting to turn orange and there was just a beautiful calmness about the whole thing. And Kyle, who was leading the sound bath, he encouraged us he said, get comfortable on your yoga mats if you want to sit up or you want to lay down. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just make sure you're comfortable. And while he was speaking, there was a lot of background noise. There were children screaming and playing in the pool next to the area. And also, because this hotel is actually close to an airport, airplanes were landing and taking off. So you could hear the noise of the airplanes. And also, at the same time, there was actually a siren from a police car speeding by. And that's when Kyle said, He said, since this meditation is outside, right? I can't control the outside noise, which would be the children screaming, the airplanes coming and going, and the sirens. But he said, meditation is all about staying focused and not letting any of those external noises or things distract you. And when he said that, I was hit with a big aha moment. And I thought about how important it is for me to stay focused on my dreams and goals and not to get distracted by external factors. And then I reflected on my life and I thought about how many times have I let myself get distracted from external factors, the noise, whatever it is, right? Things that I actually had, in looking back, zero control over. Things that were just trying to derail me from what I wanted in life. And I thought about this one time in particular. And I remembered to when I was back in the 8th grade. I grew up in San Francisco, and my parents took us on a family vacation to the East Coast for the very first time. None of us had ever been to the East Coast. And so they took us on like a family tour of the East Coast. We went to Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and New York City. And when we were in New York City, there was just something about it. I was only in the 8th grade, but I fell in love with it. And I knew deep down inside I wanted to live there someday. I don't know. How old are you when you're in the 8th grade? Like 13, 14? Anyways, fast forward to me trying to decide what college I wanted to go to. And again, I was still living in San Francisco. And when I was trying to decide what college I wanted to go to, I went to see my school counselor. And I mentioned to her, when I went to see her for an appointment, that I really wanted to go to NYU because I loved New York City so much. And you would have thought she would have said, that's great. Now let's figure out what we need to do to get you accepted into NYU. But instead, mind you, she's a school counselor. It still floors me to this day what she actually said. So what she actually said to me was, why do you want to go there? She's like, the East Coast is cold and it's miserable during the winter. And apparently she knew this because she had gone to college in Boston. But when she said that, I felt completely defeated. I felt like my dream and everything just went out the window in an instant. And she was that distraction that Kyle talked about. That distraction that I let take me away from my focus and my dream of one day to live in New York City. And I know what you're probably thinking because, why would you listen to her? Why would you let someone like her derail your dream? And I will tell you, and this is just being honest with you, I was too young and naive to know better. And I didn't really have the proper guidance to say, forget you, I'm going. And so I just trusted that, right? But here's the good news. Luckily, when I turned 31, and it's so funny because I've never freaked out on a birthday. That is honestly the only birthday I ever freaked out on. And most people freak out at milestone birthdays like 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, right? No, Suzanne's not normal. She freaked out when she turned 31. And the reason why I freaked out, though, was because I realized that I never lived out my dream of living in New York City. So I was still living in San Francisco at the time. And I decided, I was like, oh my gosh. I said, nothing's holding me back. I need to move to New York City. And so at 32, I quit my job and I moved to New York City. And believe it or not, I moved there without a job or an apartment. And this is crazy. Now that when I say this story, it's so funny to me because it sounds crazy, but you don't know what you don't know. I only knew one person and she lived in New Jersey. So this time, when I was moving there at 32, even though it's a little scary, obviously, to move there without a job or an apartment and knowing only one person, I was still more focused on my dream of living in New York City. And I wasn't going to let anything stop me from achieving that dream. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, well, then distractions must not have come up. No, they came up all along the way. And I'm not going to lie. It was hard. It was really hard. Because let's just start with the job front. I went on so many job interviews and not getting the job or getting offers where the salary wouldn't even, allow me to live in New York City, or me finding an apartment with a roommate because I thought I wanted a roommate because I didn't know anybody in New York. So I thought I wanted a roommate and I moved into this place and it turned out she was nuts. I won't even go into the details about that. And I had to move out within a month of living there because I just could not, for my own sanity, stay there. Or the tears, and trust me, I'm being totally vulnerable here. I shed so many tears thinking, oh my God, Suzanne, you're not cut out for New York City. You're not as tough as you thought you were. Because it was really hard in the beginning. And you know that song by Frank Sinatra, New York, New York? If you listen to the lyrics, if you can make it in there, you can make it anywhere. It's true. Like, I totally relate to that song because that's what I was going through when I moved there. And I kept going. I didn't stop. And I didn't let all of those distractions derail me because any one of those could have derailed me from living my dream in New York City. And when I kept going and, closed out all of the distractions and the noise and letting go of what I couldn't control, is everything started to fall into place. The first thing I did was I found the perfect job at an ad agency, and it paid me enough to live in New York City. The second thing, I moved out of that apartment with that crazy roommate, and I found an apartment without a roommate, and I didn't pay a broker's fee. And if you know anything about New York is crazy. They make you pay like a 15% broker's fee of the first year's rent. And I hit the pavement and I just happened to find this apartment where I wouldn't have to pay a broker's fee, which can add up to a lot of money, right? And because I started this new job, I started to make new friends. And everything started to come into alignment for me. Because I didn't get distracted and because I stayed focused on my dream of living in New York City. And I will tell you, it all worked out for the best because I ended up living in New York City for 22 awesome years. And honestly, they were the best years of my life. Like, I truly feel like I lived the Sex and the City lifestyle when I was living in New York. They were the best years of my life. So, my question for you is, what big dream or goal are you working on right now in midlife or working towards in midlife? And what distractions are coming up for you right now that are trying to derail you from your dream? And something probably popped into your head and you're like, oh my God, something just happened where I felt like maybe I should give up. But more importantly, are you allowing them to distract or derail you from your dream? Or are you staying focused on what you truly want? Because things are going to happen. Things are going to try and derail you. Things are going to test you to make sure you truly want that. And just like Kyle reminded us at the sound bath, just remember this. You can't control the noise around you. You can't. You have to let go of the distractions. You have to let go of the things you can't control. And instead, choose to focus your energy on your goal and your dream. And when you do that, I promise you, something will shift within you. You create the space within you to come back into alignment and to fully focus on your intention. Because that's exactly what happened for me at the end of the meditation. Again, I don't know how sound baths really work, but I awoke to a full moon, and all I know is how I felt afterward. My energy was restored. I felt lighter. I felt calmer. I felt more aligned. And I had let go of what I couldn't control. And that reset gave me the clarity to keep moving forward. And I will tell you, the next day after the sound bath, I swear I was more on point and focused than I've been in a while. And when you let go of the distractions and the things that you can't control, that's the same exact gift you can give yourself with your dreams. Don't lose your focus and keep going because you've got this. So let's talk about the key takeaways from this life lesson. Is number one, distractions will always show up when you're following a dream. But that doesn't mean you have to let them derail your dream. Number two, you can't control the noise around you. You can't. As much as you would like to, you can't. But you can control your focus. Number three, letting go of what you can't control allows you to put all your energy toward what you can control. And lastly, stay aligned with your intention, as in your goal or your dream, and have faith and trust that everything will begin to fall into place, and it will. So if you're ready to let go of the distractions and stay focused on what truly matters in your next chapter, but you don't want to do it alone, don't worry, I've got you. That's exactly why I created the Circle of Love Sisterhood, because it's a community of amazing women in midlife who are staying on track with their dreams and supporting each other every step of the way. And you can join the waitlist at SuzanneOshima.com/waitlist and be the first to know when the doors open again this fall. And I can't wait to welcome you in.